Hi, this is Conrad Zimmerman of FistShark Marketing, here to remind you that this show exists thanks to the financial support of our listeners. For less than the price of a lower back tattoo, you can make your family question where they went wrong without pain and disfigurement. Just visit patreon.com/FistShark or click that big Patreon button at fistshark.com. And thanks for listening.
You have to admit, gun violence has gone down since these measures were implemented.
True.
Like, it's a fact.
I mean, the logic has been sound. You can't fault the initial logic that the mayor put forth, that cars are responsible for more deaths than guns. That was already sound. So the next logical step, banning cars, has also resulted in a lot less vehicular deaths. Yeah, except for the people who obviously, if they want to get a car, they will get a car. Those people, those bad hombres are still around. But you're right. Gun violence has gone down along with the vehicular manslaughter.
And the roads, my God. I mean, my commute has dropped by like 80%.
Oh, yeah. Once I started walking, I managed to get to work. The proposal that people start driving their guns to work, that has led to some people being late. I noticed Doris hasn't been in for about 15 days, which is when the mayor suggested that we start driving our guns instead of our cars.
Yeah, and for me, that wasn't going to work. Like, I mean, there's no way I'm going to drive my gun through these neighborhoods, park downtown, where anybody could just, like, take it. No way. I'm sorry. My gun's too nice for that.
Not to mention, I'm not going to rack up the mileage on it.
No, that's silly. But I will say that while productivity has gone down, things just do seem generally more pleasant on the whole. People seem less angry.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to be angry when you just sat in your driveway on top of an assault rifle, staring across the street at someone else who's doing the same.
Not that there haven't been some problems there too.
There's going to be a bit of tension.
You're always going to have people who are careless in these situations, who aren't thinking about the implications of the risks, and they misuse their gun. Yeah. Right?
Well, I'm thinking specifically about that guy who had the fucking clever idea to sit backwards on his gun, pull the trigger, in the hopes that the propulsion from the bullet fire would spray him to work. And the physics just weren't there. He couldn't see where he was going. He hit a lamppost.
And his daughter.
Oh yeah, the daughter as well. She did get in the way.
But, at least insurance is going to cover the garage. Like, it's a learning process. People are figuring it out, and you're going to have a few incidents.
Any sweeping legislation is going to have teething troubles.
Right. So I think it's for the best. And who knows, we're selling so many more guns now. Like, people who never had a gun before, but, didn't know they needed one, now they have to have it, because how else are they going to get to work?
That's what we've been pushing for this whole time, is more guns on the streets for a safer America, because it makes us money.
Right. Yes, a lot of money.
Ludicrous amounts of money. Like, good job for me. I sold my shares in Ford before the ban came in. Invested it right into Blackwater.
I'm a Smith & Wesson guy. Colt's been making really good moves lately, though. I'm thinking I need to diversify. But, it's...
I mean, you really want to, take a look at my portfolio. It really is mostly paramilitary corporations. That's where the big bucks are. Individual gun models, that's fine. Those companies will bring in some worth. But the mercenary bands using them, that's the sweetest plum.
So you're saying that where the action is in the service industries?
Oh, yeah. It's all about live services.
Well, yeah, because I could see how, in perpetuity, long term, you're going to get more value out of the application of the object versus the object itself. I mean, heck, you're not anywhere involved in the, manufacture cost or that investment, maintaining facilities. It's just simple and clean. Acquire the resource and then use it. Yeah.
It's something to think about. It's something to think about.
Right.
Because we've really got to focus on the issues that matter to the American people, which is guys like you and me staying rich.
Right. And that is very, very important. There's few things more important than us staying incredibly, sickeningly wealthy.
Yeah, wealthy enough to keep our cars. I mean, we can't really drive them out during the day, but at night, God, because the streets are so empty, you can Tokyo drift around here.
I gotta tell you, what I just decided I was gonna do is have Craig drive me around.
Nice.
And then we get pulled over or something. I can just sit in the back, pretend that he kidnapped me. I get 2 for 1.
And let's talk about the dip in road rage incidents. Like, while we're speaking about the benefits of banning cars and maximizing gun manufacturing, hardly any road rage.
No, nobody seems to be pissed off. Well, nobody's being stopped from going anywhere, for one thing.
Yeah.
I think is a big deal.
Yeah.
Also, not being on the roads at all has dramatically reduced the number of incidents of road rage. Increase of the incidents of general rage.
There's been a slight uptick in that.
I think things are getting a little tense out in the suburbs as they start to, stop getting deliveries of things like, food and sundries, all the things that stock their stores that are so isolated and distant from the rest of society.
I've also noticed a rise in deaths where the bodies have had, like, small bullet-shaped pieces of lead inside them.
Really?
Yeah. But again, when you offset that against the vehicular deaths, I think it's a fair trade.
No comparison. Cars kill hundreds of people every week.
Yeah, I've seen it happen. Well, a friend told me about it, and that was enough to frighten me.
I drove past a fatal accident really slowly once.
Yeah. I did hit someone's daughter once, but she got in the way.
Well, I mean, then that's her fault. Look where you're going, right?
But ultimately, I think we here in Boston have solved the problem and done it the American way. Because now we have a city full of Americans sitting on their guns going nowhere. And that is where we should be.
You really literally just described America to me, in general. People sitting on their guns, doing jack shit.
I fucking love Old Glory. Sorry, what was it now? Oh yeah, Old Gory. Sorry, we had to change that name.
We're just getting rid of the white on the flag, right? That's just impractical.
Oh yeah, it's a waste of time now. I mean, let's face it, on most flags, you can't even see the white anymore anyway. You don't need a repaint job. Credit where credit is due. Marvel's cinematic universe has been a triumph. Not just commercially.
It's done a lot for society in general, and certainly for us.
I mean, well, we always benefit. Recently, of course, Black Panther being such a financial and cultural success has only raised our personal stock. I especially like the critics who keep pointing out that Wakanda isn't real when people talk about how much they like Wakanda, because the more they do that, and the more people see Black Panther as a movie, the less likely they are to find out that Wakanda is real.
Yeah, and that's the goal, right? I mean, that is... I had my doubts about this strategy when it was first proposed. The idea of making a major motion picture that's going to be seen the world over that explicitly shows this highly advanced nation that we and others have been trying to keep a secret.
There's a reason why people like us have been trying to get in the way of that for so long. Because we've got to think about our bottom lines. People don't think about our bottom lines.
Absolutely. I mean, I cannot imagine the impact of the world knowing that there's a country that has this renewable energy source. Coal and oil would be finished. It would be done. And just the amount of money that would fall away from incredibly wealthy people, that cannot be allowed to happen.
To say nothing of the increased calls for change we're going to start hearing if people find out that shit could be better.
Things are justified the way they are, thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm very uncomfortable with the idea of people finding out Wakanda is real and then expecting that to apply here. I mean, for one thing, if Wakanda became real, like you say, we'd lose money from our energy sources, people would be happier and would buy less shit from us.
Mm-hmm.
Up to and including pharmaceutical goods.
Pharmaceuticals, entertainment. I mean, anything that distracts a person from the horror and misery of their everyday life is going to take a hit. I mean, snack foods. Can you imagine how much money's going to be lost by the Frito-Lay Corporation?
I mean, when I thought about the snacks, when I thought about the hit Cheetos would take, I couldn't spam Wakanda Isn't Real on Twitter fast enough.
Haagen-Dazs? More like Haagen-Done. It would be a disaster. It would be an utter disaster. And so when the Russian marketing firm came to us and said, hey, you know what? This is a cross-promotional opportunity. I was like, I'm worried. But, their idea of putting the thing out there that you don't want people to believe exists as a strategy?
I mean, you gotta hand it to the Russians. They do know how to gaslight an entire nation, and they do it really well.
It's downright impressive.
I know that these days, it's not like the 60s. These days, it's like a little bit unpopular to work with the Russians on things.
Mm-hmm.
But, as long as you just keep it a secret from everybody,
yeah,
ethically, it's okay.
Yeah, as long as it's on the down low, as long as, you don't talk about it, you keep that sense of propriety. You keep it to yourself, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You just don't talk about the Russians. Ultimately, is what you do.
Private
right?
matters should stay private, no matter how many millions of people they affect.
Unless, of course, you take a lesson from this, right? And you talk about it all the time, so as to diminish the value of anything said about it. I suppose
that's true. Yeah,
I suppose that could work.
Well, it worked for that Frozen song. Enough people sung "Let It Go" that people started holding on to things for dear life.
It's true. That's true. The number of people who managed to survive clinging from cliff edges that would have normally died, it was a real inspiration.
That 47-year-old mother of two, they had to prise that tin of beans from her cold, dead hands.
I think we're really going to see a watershed moment here in our ability to prevent change, right?
I mean, that's ultimately the goal. The more things stay the same, the more they don't with regards to our bank balances.
Right. There has been an ongoing trend for a very long time of us getting increasingly wealthy. I mean, it's even a matter of degrees at this point, right? It's not even that the percentage of money that we're making as relative to our vast wealth is that significant.
I barely notice it. It's like a trickle.
In the grand scheme, yeah,
And the important thing is it trickles sideways.
Right, it trickles to us.
Yeah, which is the way it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, I was going to ask, I've got an appointment with my stockbroker next week, but I can't make it, and since we share a portfolio on some of those projects, can you have a word with him for me, because I am on vacation next week and I forgot.
Oh, where are you going?
Wakanda. It's bloody great over there. Brace yourself, Conrad. I don't have good news.
When do you ever have good news?
When she's not pregnant.
That's true. Okay, fair point. So, all right, I'm ready. I'm seated.
Okay.
Go.
I just received word through Cheryl that the senior partners are planning to send out a memo, company-wide.
Okay. That's great, because nothing is more useful or productive in maintaining the efficiency of a well-oiled machine than some directive that is disseminated company-wide from the very top. That's great.
You were being sarcastic then, right?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Just wanted to
totally.
make sure we were on the same page there, because these memos are starting to take a bit of a toll. I'm getting more grey hair with every memo. Not just from stress. The last memo, when I read it, the words burned their way into my soul, and parts of my hair actually did just turn white.
That's happened to a lot of people around here lately, actually. There's been a bunch of people with streaks and flecks coming in suddenly, and yeah.
I think it was the font they chose to use. I think it was one of those hexed fonts that they have access to.
Right, yeah.
I'd love to have a look at that version of Windows, by the way.
The things that they are able to do, I mean, the back-end tools in that version of Windows, their ability to change the meaning of words throughout the network. Staggering possibilities. Not to mention the things we could do to Craig.
I have no idea what this memo is going to be about. I just know it's coming.
Well, I mean, does it really even matter what the memo is about? Like, it doesn't seem to make a difference what the memo is about, because nothing ever really changes following the release of these memos. I mean,
that's true.
I mean, not in a company sense, right? Like, something always changes as a result of these memos.
No, of course. Usually something in our body or soul.
Right.
And 50% of the time, the content of the actual message is wiped from our memories as if it were never read. The only thing that we know afterwards is that we did read something, and it was horrible.
And maybe that's just a natural defense mechanism. You know, like part of our brains sees something alien, tries to interpret it, and locks it away so that we can't recall. Because it's hard to imagine somebody would disseminate a whole bunch of information and then force the people that received it to forget it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have to feel like this is just our bodies reacting to the intrusion of these memos.
Yeah. And I do usually end up with some renewed sense of purpose after reading them.
Well, yeah, and I can see how that can happen, because, you know, it's not like it's just the reading of the memo that goes away. Like, there can be other pockets of memory that have just evaporated. And sometimes those are things that have been slowing us down, you know, weighing us down in our hearts and minds. And so coming out of that and not having the burden of whatever those memories could have been on your shoulders, I could see how that would make you feel more optimistic and motivated.
I do sometimes worry, though, because I still am aware that my 10th birthday was one of the best birthdays I ever had, but I can't remember a single detail about it anymore. And I have had a sneaking suspicion that after I've read the words that they've printed out on a parchment, and again, I would love to see the printer they have that can actually print on ancient scrolls, but I do sometimes get this lingering sense, just call it like an internal feeling, that my memories are being stolen when I read these memos and are being put into the heads of the senior partners, so they're their memories now.
I've heard that. In fact, my third wife, or alleged third wife, Doreen, says that that's what happened. I say that I came home one day and discovered that a woman and 2 children were squatting in my house, and threw them out immediately. And I mean, it turned into this whole row. She produced this litany of fraudulent documents and indicating that, we'd bought the house together, we had insurance plans. She even drafted a fake will.
Yeah.
That made her and the children the beneficiary. I mean, it was just disgusting.
I have no idea where she got off trying to, like, pin all that on you, especially since she's married to one of the senior partners.
Right?
So why is she trying to get money off you?
Yeah, it's not fair to me. I feel really put upon by it, if I'm being totally honest.
It's not a problem anymore. After those hooks pulled her up to the top floor, we've not really heard much of her since.
That's true. That is true. And I don't mean any ill will to this person. I just don't know her.
Why should you? Do we spend any time with the senior partners' family?
Hell no. Absolutely not. That is a line that we do not cross. I mean, would I accept an invitation? Certainly, because it's probably coming with a gun pressed to my head, and but...
Plus, if you say no, those hooks will drag you up there anyway.
Right, it's in one way or another, you're going to the 23rd, so might as well just go along for the ride. But I certainly wouldn't want to put myself with the senior partners and their families in a social setting. It just doesn't feel right. They're a completely different level from us.
Yeah, there are professional boundaries that need to be respected by us, not by them. They've already firmly established there are no boundaries up to and including our own personal memories. Maybe that's why they call them memos.
Oh, do you think that there's a connection there? Like,
Yeah, I think it's short for memory theft.
They do love a good slang term, to use, a jargony thing to use in and around the office.
Well, they own a marketing company.
Yeah. So that does make a lot of sense.
Memo sounds catchier than memory theft.
Right? It rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So do we know when they're sending this memo?
I've completely forgotten.
Great. So then there's nothing we can do to even just prepare for it, like, I don't know, writing some things down. Do you do that? Do you keep notes just in case we get a memo and there's something, like, really critical?
Somewhere. Hang on. Yeah. Every now and then, when I know a memo's coming, I will write something down. That memo is coming soon. They say tomorrow. And that was dated 3 days ago. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, so sit yourself down, Conrad. I've got some not great news. A memo went out, and we've read it.
FistShark Marketing is Jim Sterling and Conrad Zimmerman. Theme music by Ben Rama. Additional music by Alizar Chan. Our editor is Austin Yorsky. Get more episodes and learn how to support the show at FistShark.com. Follow us on Twitter at FistShark for more of our exploits. Complaints can be forwarded via email to fistsharkmarketing@aol.com. And remember, comfort is a prison you'll walk right into. Goodbye.